Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AICHE, AI Curious Human Enthusiast podcast with none other than Rob Jones, who, if there is a human being that's leaning into his given gifting of comedy, of just amazing audacity, of being funny, of being creative, and leveraging AI in the journey, this is the dude right here. So it's awesome to have him here in the studios with us to kick off the new year. Rob and I finally crossed paths face to face at this little event we were now about to get into the third year of, called Southbound. So we got a little bit of history ourselves, and went from fanboy following him on LinkedIn to watching him continue to rise. And these days he's moved on from Rev Partners, but not too far, over to Supered, where he's evangelizing product, which, dude, you've been evangelist since birth. I think you've just chosen what the next thing is. Tell us a little bit about more yourself before we dive into the AICHE kind of thing. How about that?
Yeah, I was at Rev Partners. Matt Bolian is a guy that was a co-founder. He co-founded. He's done both. I've known him for 31 years. We grew up down the street from each other. I love the photos. Yeah, I beat him in chess. I beat him in baseball. I beat him in ping pong, everything. And then he went to West Point and London School of Economics and did, he was in the military for 7 years in military intelligence. And I graduated one spot ahead of him in our high school class, by the way. So this is very far background, but you are AI curious human enthusiast. I hope you're enthusiastic about the background. Anyway, so
you're first to this podcast too. So just saying, right?
Oh, I got to set a high bar then. Okay, so let me do about 40 more minutes of backstory. No,
I'm just saying you beat Bolian here just as you have by that much everywhere else.
That's right. I'll skip ahead through all the boring stuff. So I've done everything, man. I went to school for behavioral psychology. I was a behavioral therapist at Whitfield, which is the setting for Time to Kill in Mississippi. I have 4 kids. I was doing that. I was a firefighter for 5 years. I was a residential account executive and manager for a telecom in Mississippi. And then I got into SaaS almost by accident as a really kind of like a part-time intern. I think Matt challenged me to start posting videos and doing, he was like, how you used to make those songs and parodies? Can you just try a couple of those for LinkedIn?
Matt encouraged you to do that first. Interesting.
The third one I ever made, because I started off with some like Rob Learns RevOps or something. The third one I ever made was a Full House parody, and it went, from by all accounts, like LinkedIn viral. Yeah. And Matt told me that was my new job. So that's how I got into this and got started. I since have done sales. I was an interim sales manager, by the way. Would not trust me to do that again. I love sales. I understand it's one of the hardest jobs in the world. I decided that my translative ability and my communication skills and the way that I position things were more valuable, and the powers that be agreed. And so they said, we're getting you out of having to follow a schedule and talk to people and, and log stuff in the CRM. And we'll get you into making, content and doing interviews and making videos and writing a narrative. I think the hardest marketing or product task that I've done so far was recently, and it was rewriting a narrative for the company. So
interesting. So you used your gift to turn around and inspire others to log into their CRM and figure out what happens next, right?
I just think if you can't laugh at yourself and some other things, then what are you doing? So I think humor is an effective tool, and I've been told I'm fun. I don't agree. My kids don't think I'm funny, but if it helps and it helps, increase awareness and gravity to what we're trying to do, then I like pointing people in the direction of my teammates who are all, super competent and capable.
Well, I love that bit of your backstory too about sales management, because it provides credibility to exactly what you said. You can say, hey, this is hard. I get it. I've walked in those shoes. I'm here to help. But not just I'm here to help. I've walked in those shoes. I'm passionate about making it more fun, more accessible, and bringing that whole world to you, the world of CRM. And maybe we'll sneak in a little bit about what Super does specifically in that world in a little bit. But, and in fact, maybe in this first question, which is, hey, Rob, what does AI curious human enthusiast mean to you? Is it personal? I mean, I heard the behavioral undergrad that you talked about. That's really interesting. I'm wondering if that phrase, what that says to you about you and maybe the world these days.
I love acronyms. I read this as ache, like heartache or tummy ache at
Achy
first.
breaky.
Yeah, it's just neurons overlapping. So yeah, I think if you're not curious, then you're not exposed and you're living under a rock. I think Nico Lafakis, who is he's at Smoke Signals now. He is brilliant. I did a session with him, and I just like, what is an LLM? What is AI? Like, tell me the difference. Just Eli 5, explain it to me like I'm 5. And he said, imagine the smartest person you've ever met, but 10,000 times smarter and quicker. And that's what we're dealing with here. Even if it's wrong, even if it hallucinates, the capability is about that. And so if you're not curious about that type of potential, then I just don't know what to say anymore. I feel like I was literally reading some statistics before this, and 99% of people, according to whatever the pollster or the website was, have at least heard of or are aware of AI. 55% of US adults use AI regularly, which means once a week. 27% use AI frequently, which is like daily or multiple times daily. So I think the current number from 2023-4 was like 175 million, and 2025 is closer to 330 million. So it's doubled.
Wow.
You see the investments from big companies like Meta and Google and everybody else, that are doing that. So there is I'd say like the highest of ceilings, but figuring out how to use it and create standardized outcomes is the tie-in to Super. AI is amazing for that specific individual user in a lot of cases. How do you take that and allow for more productivity, more quicker speed to value, whatever it is, whatever application it is, and be able to standardize those outcomes across a team? That's what I'm curious about.
And where Super leverages AI is being inside of your CRM and walking along with you in the journey and leveraging different data sources. I'm assuming including AI, GPT, third party, bringing into, is that part of the element as well? Or is it all intelligence based on your CRM and not bringing anything externally back in the journey?
Super currently, I think we're an outlier here, does not leverage AI, not in the product.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Super is the process layer. So everything is either wrapped in AI or has an AI layer or powered by AI or whatever. Super is the process layer. That the best way I've invented, by the way, I'm gonna test this on you since it's your first pod, and here we go.
Here we go.
Super is if you think about process or organizations or the act of doing things, it's very much like the 3 branches of government. You have legislative, you have judicial, and you have executive. AI is unbelievable at legislating, not making laws, but creating things. So I need a blog done. I need 10 blogs done. I need a 1,000-word document done. I need ideas for marketing copy or whatever. I need you to build me a sales process based on unbelievable. AI is also very good at ranking things, which I would say is judicial. Why is this not good? What's wrong? Critique this. Make this into as close to a 10 out of 10 blog copy as you can, whatever that is. AI is very good at ranking things. AI is not yet very good at enforcing behavior. Not very good at all. I had a very long conversation with Claude the other night, and it put a bunch of prompts on my calendar and has yet to follow up with me about any of them. So Super functions as the executive branch. It makes sure that you're doing what it is that has been set forth and what the expectations are. That's my last Super plug, but you did ask, and I think that's a pretty decent metaphor.
I like it. That's well done, man. So let's shift back to Rob. So what were you made for? So what do you feel is the given gifting you bring? I snuck a few of my own opinions in to this big blue marble here as a human being. Your unique talents, passion, purpose, wiring you've uncovered personally and professionally that makes you tick and that you share with the world.
I can answer this in like one of three ways. Which way do you want?
One first.
Okay. When I was a child, I had behavior problems. I went to a psychologist. I tested off the charts. I was like Mensa level IQ. So I have, it's probably shrank a bit over the years with kids and, you know, college and all that, but I'm a decently smart guy.
Wow.
So that's one of the gifts. I have found that my most effective application of that is listening, and more from college and the experience as a behavioral therapist, in listening and getting people to open up, and I can create bridges of understanding using metaphors and using whatever translative ability that I have. That's exceptionally powerful in marketing when you're trying to position to different subsets of people with different interests, different personalities, different goals, different pains. So listening and then being able to translate back what I heard and value and connect that with things. Pretty good at that. The third way I was going to say is I am a jack of all trades, master of none. I play guitar. I am pretty good at almost anything that I try. I just am not an expert at anything at all. So I'm very well rounded, but I'm not going to be like a global thought leader in, you know, macroeconomics, or, you know, I'm not going to be on Billboard Top 100 and, you know, nothing like that.
Love it. Well, I'm surprised you didn't throw the creative aspect, creativity in there, because man, you've got a ton of it, brother.
I think that, I mean, there is inherent creativity in being able to translate things quickly to people. The executive branch metaphor was kind of, I mean, on the spot as you can get. I thought of that before this meeting, going through the list of questions and how do I explain this? So that is, it is creating understanding from shared bodies of understanding.
Well, and if anyone in the podcast audience hasn't watched 100 or 300 plus of Rob's video, what are you up to now? I saw you throw a number out there the other day. I was like, what? I got some more to watch.
It's close to like 300 now. I've done 150 like songs, so like parody songs that I really enjoy doing. In Q4 we had an initiative to launch this BSTN network, which is a sales and tech network, and we did 60 minutes of original content a week for 12 weeks. So that's, I don't know, let's just say 1,000 videos, something like that.
Crazy, man. Love it. So catch up, folks. You're running a little bit behind. Great way to kick off your 2026 and catch up on 2025 all at once. So administrivia, Rob, a word we love to throw around here at the AICHE. Well, I'll go abbreviation since you like them, which is basically the life-sucking, repetitive tasks that consume us as humans, and that we here believe that AI can serve us in getting rid of all that stuff so we can focus on those given gifting items that we were just talking about. So just curious, but both personally and professionally, we've already gone a little bit into the super. What's one specific piece or task of administrivia that you've successfully handed off to AI and or helped others do so, and what has that freed you up to do more of?
I'm not really sure. I have some thoughts on this. By the way, administrivia, love the word. Wasn't sure it was a real word. It is. So thank you I learned something new every day.
I made it up 20, 30 years ago. It's stuck though.
It is very good. I was a bit confused, but in your prompt you had like definitions and things. So I appreciate that. Life-sucking, repetitive, non-creative tasks that consume human time. So a couple things here, if you care to hear them. One is very much, I'm a former athlete, also CrossFit coach, who played baseball up until college. If you don't find a way to enjoy that part of the process, then I don't think you'll be as successful as you could be. The practice and the shit that is mundane and repetitive, having an appreciation for that, I think is healthy. And so there's a lot of new territory and new things I have to learn with this role. So I haven't used it to automate much, if any of that, out of the way yet, because I enjoy the trenches. I enjoy failing. I enjoy having to do it so that later I can be not only appreciative of that, but also there's another athletic type of phrase that's practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So you can use it to administer, to get rid of some of the administrivia if you know that it's going to be done exactly the way you want every single time. What I use it for currently is a starting place. So here's an idea. Here's what I think. Where am I off? I use it almost more as an intellectual partner. And specifically, I don't know if you've used Suno yet.
Yeah.
It's that musical talent is not administrivia. I just don't have it. So it'd be more of I can sing, I can write really well. I have a good, sense of music. I just can't play the xylophone or the, whatever these instruments are. So I use it for more like creative exploration than for getting rid of administrivia.
That's great. And what about in a professional life?
Suno is professional for me.
Oh, that's true. That's funny. I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah,
it crosses over both. That's very true. I like it.
Canva, CapCut, auto caption, stuff like that's more common. I mean, something that people will probably take for granted is something that's like Grammarly. So instead of me having to go pick up a dictionary and remember how to spell words like administrivia, it auto corrects for me. That's super time saving. Being able to organize things a little bit better. But as far as, I would have to hear some other good examples to see if I needed to start exploring AI to replace those certain things.
Got it. So this one might be interesting because it sounds like, at least in the product that you are supporting, you haven't fully brought AI in. You're just kind of wrestling it, right? And helping people guide people through AI powered tools. But one of the key phrases that I gravitated towards early on, years and years ago, was human in the loop, which is part of what really started this whole AI curious human enthusiast. Like, of course, there's got to be a human in the loop. We just can't hand this over to the robots. But we took it up a notch here at AICHE and came up with human AI sandwich, which the mantra is be the bread. What do we mean by that? It's the human starts the entire process, brings in the creativity, and then partners with AI in the sandwich making, the meat, the condiments, the creativity, back and forth, iterative, possibly even multiple different AI sources. But at the end, when you're delivering it, packaging it up, and you mentioned this a little bit earlier, that human being able to take all of that, make something of it that's going to land well, and possibly, if it's a business-to-business transaction, with the needed empathy for that specific human being to deliver that sandwich, so to speak, properly. So we're a human AI sandwich kind of shop. Where does that land with you? And are there things that you do, stopgaps that you've used? What philosophy do you adhere to when bringing AI into what you do?
Human in the loop is a good one. I have a lot of ideas on where in the loop and how much a percentage of the loop the human should be. It's, to me, a lot closer to last mile. So human sandwich is good. One of the things that agents kind of, I'd say pseudo solve is inspiration, right? Like AI, Claude, LLMs, you think of GPT, it requires a prompt. It requires inspiration. It requires some task. That's what it requires. So human has to do that. And I think that, like, can I pull every source and like aggregate research as quick? No, I can't do any of that. To me, that sourcing thing, I'll go back and answer the question. Sourcing things and research and finding all of that is one thing that I 100% hate. I'm not very good at it. So AI does a lot better job of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it still needs a human currently. I mean, some have a really funny story. I think there's a question about an oops moment with AI coming up. Not to spoil it for the listeners, but I have a really good one there as a tease. But it still requires like that branch of the judicial branch of like, is this good? Is this exactly what I had hoped? Are there errors? Or is this hallucination is a popular word. So humans are judgmental, for better or worse, and they're editors by nature. So if you can have inspiration pretty consistently, you can leverage AI to do kind of the heavy lifting and typing. I mean, AI can type a billion words a minute, whatever.
Right.
If you can use it to do that, and then you're the purveyor of value of like, is this good? Is what else needs to happen? That's how I currently leverage it. That's how I think people are making more, not just more use cases from it, but getting more value out of it. They eliminate the giant time consuming part. They look at our finished product, format it differently, make some corrections, some edits, and then it's ready to go.
Love it. So you were seeing the future. You queued this one up, and you can take it one of two or both directions. So an AI aha or three, a moment when AI surprised you either delightfully or disastrously.
So everything from Suno is amazing. It's unreal how quickly that works. Almost all of the music that I've created with that has delighted me in a very good way. I would say more professional, even though that is professionally, being able to actually vibe coded a website over the break. So that was unbelievable. Just getting Vercel and GitHub set up and connected, taking a prompt that I had for BSTN, putting it in and saying, make a website. It had a couple errors, but eventually, in 20 minutes, there was a website that had BSTN videos from YouTube as a playlist and had a bunch of other stuff. That was pretty amazing. And then I'll show one. So the podcast listeners won't get this. Here is a horrible one. GPT has like this cartoon and animate filter now.
Yeah.
And we were doing that with the kids over the break. And I asked it to just make all of them look a little bit sillier. There's a picture of my son.
Oh my God. He got hit by the car.
It is nightmare fuel. So it's close, but that was a very unpleasant experience for the whole family.
Yeah, still haven't slept. Yeah.
Yeah. He looks like the woman from Total Recall whenever she gets exposed to the Mars air.
Yeah. That's crazy. I love it. That's funny. So certified human being in a world that's getting noisier with all this omni-channel, I'm going to call it AI automation abuse. I like to call it spraying and praying, but it's SPRAING and PRAING, right? It was spraying and praying was bad enough decades ago. Now AI's doing it all on its own. What's your go-to move in communicating both on LinkedIn, on in interpersonal relations, with saying, hey, I'm a human versus AI, and do you see that as a trend?
Yeah, you're right. Spraying and praying is good. Spraying and praying is what it looks like. That is becoming more ubiquitous. Seeking to. It's my water notification. New year, new me.
Keep drinking.
Seeking to create value without reciprocity first. So a lot of in the world that we live in, there's everything is feels more transactional. It can feel more predatory. Hey, saw this post. Here's an offer that we have, or here's a play. People that are in the B2B world know there is some agenda behind that. So the way I've gotten away from this, and I hope to get back to it, the way that I choose to be unmistakably human, one is not letting a conversation virtually, because I'm a remote worker, end after a comment, right? It feels like shouting into the void. So continuing conversations as much as possible whenever they're relevant. Also not being afraid to tell stories and show failure. The one thing about AI being the smartest, entity, being what system ever created, is that there's this like air of perfectionism, which is actually dipping people's trust of it lower with the photos and things that are created now. It's almost, there's a very real too good to be true type of vibe with AI, which is insane because we have some pretty amazing video editors here that make things without AI, just them, using animation tools that are real. And people, there have been a couple of comments like, oh, that's not very good. It was AI. It wasn't AI. That was so being able to show like some cracks in your armor or failure or being willing and able to share struggle creates camaraderie, and that's very human. I also think that the thing that I had gotten away from is gifting content. So I used to still, we did this a lot for inbound. We did it after inbound, and then we had Q4 and all that. Giving something away, making something and giving it to somebody with, again, no expectation of return or reciprocity, it to me is very human, because it feels like there's a what's the catch, and the catch is I just legitimately think that the purple collar guy who I met at Southbound, I'm going back to for a third year, you deserve your own anthem, and I made this Suno song. Doesn't cost you a dime. I don't need you to share it necessarily on public. You know, that type of thing, I think is
that's great.
As close as I've gotten to, you know, being able to showcase that.
Well, and you nailed one of mine for you is you are, and you've even proven it right here in this podcast. You're so humble and transparent and willing to share that so openly that you've been through some rough patches. You look like you're just the happiest damn guy on the planet and have never even run into a bus, brother. And the more that you share transparently, so openly, even in your LinkedIn posts, you always share that level of humanness that so many of us, even way before AI, were so prone to try to be the Facebook family and have everything be perfect. And I'm grateful for that about you, because you're a thought leader out there. A lot of people like, follow, watch, and look up to you, brother, myself included. So please stay true to that, as you don't even need me to say that. You always do.
I appreciate it. You're one of two people I would consider to be not just a thought leader, but a thinking of others leader. Pete Vomisil, I don't know if you've crossed paths with him. He's Mr. Open to Help, bright spot in people's feeds.
Yeah, he's a great.
Having that type of approach and perspective, especially in a increasingly disconnected and remote world, I think is really important. And so if you can be a thought leader by thinking of others, then I think that's just another thing that would make me want to connect with you as a human. I've also said you don't have to be a top mind to be top of mind. So sharing that, I posted about this yesterday. It's like, I just had 2 weeks off for the holidays and realized how much I take this job for granted. In the fire service, it was 24-hour shifts, 48 off, do it again. There were no holidays. Like, you got lucky if your day, you know, got skipped. So that's, to me, that's not, it's more like outward radical candor towards the public than it is transparency. I don't have anything necessarily that I can brag too much about, or that I'm too afflicted with. You know, I've got family and health and got a job and, you know, all of that. So if it comes off as being helpful and transparent and leading with thought, then I'm shocked, and I appreciate it.
It certainly does. You can't help it. It's just who you are. And grateful for your feedback, man. You have no idea how much that means to even be in your top 30, let alone 3.
Top 2, baby.
I love you, man. Back at you, by the way. And so we land with this. We got to land on the future, right? Which, to me, the future's like next Wednesday. Everything's moving so quickly. But we got to work our AI letters in. So it's a future so bright, BRAIGHT, right? Question mark, is it, right? So in 3 to 5 years, again, I've shown my cards. I'm an AI curious human enthusiast. I believe that humans will continue to win the day, and a lot of these folks that are being let go and replaced 100% by AI, that's going to come full circle, because humans are going to crave even more humans. But for you, like in 3 to 5 years, how do you envision AI and human beings coexisting at work, at home, locally, globally? What do you think that might look like?
Yeah, BSDN's New Year's episode featured a character called Sastradamus that prognosticated a bunch of stuff. I want
the T-shirt. I don't know if you saw my comments on that. I love it.
Yeah, it is. That was a fun one to do. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. Is my real answer. But if you wanted me to predict it, I almost think there's one of two options. One is, it feels more likely, just like with the internet and everything else that was a huge trend and people dumped a lot of money into it. It will take off and then it'll die down, and then people will fix it, and we'll figure out ways to utilize AI in very philanthropic, meaningful, human-centered ways, unless we want to become Skynet and, you know, Terminator franchise. The other way, I think, is that is that not that sounds insane. It's not that AI would like do anything weird or take over or blow up the world or, you know, doomsday scenario. But there are some very real and scary, just like with any social media or phone or dopamine use, there's some real scary like neuroscience data about the usage of AI. Where do you learn how to learn if you just have something that does it for you?
Right.
So a species, not in 2 years or 3 years, but in 10 to 15 years, that never learned how to struggle, never learned how to learn, never learned how to write. People are forgetting how to write cursive now and read. Like it's a slower death, if you will, as like my second option. But if it becoming too reliant on anything, I don't think is great, right? Unless it's, you know, like your wife, family, kid, whatever. But being too reliant on something that is the ultimate dopamine hit, it would almost be like an epidemic of AI as a drug, like destroying the human's ability to think creatively and be inspired and have insights of their own. So I don't know when or if that'll happen. Hopefully not. But I think shying away from the usage of AI and contributing to, like, you know, there are so many good use cases with like medical breakthroughs and being able to diagnose faster and be able to triage and, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. That's where AI and humans would be symbiotic in their relationship, like mutually beneficial. One where we rely too much on thinking for us or doing all of the work for us or making decisions for us. That to me is scarier, probably less likely as an outcome. But you know, I'm not Sastradamus, so
you might be. Well, and for me, I mean, again, all transparency, even pre-AI ish, at least the boom, I can't read a frickin' map or know where the hell I'm going without my GPS. It scared the crap out of me. My car GPS goes out because it's connected to my iPhone. I'm like, I live in a neighborhood. I don't know how to get to my daughter's softball game or what, right? I'm like, but where paper map, those still exist. I mean, they still do. I saw a Rand McNally atlas and I had to stop and think about that for a minute. It had been decades since I had seen an atlas.
Yeah, I remember the days of printing off 10 pages of MapQuest to go to the beach and just following them.
Together in the car. Right. That's hilarious. Yeah. Well, Rob, it's been an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to see you. Quick commercial to the crowd at Southbound. Was it 16th of April? I'm doing that off the top of the head.
Day after tax day. Great reason to celebrate.
There you go. All the crazy money you got back from the government, come spend it with Rob and I.
That's right.
It'll be a supered time, guaranteed.
I see what you did there.
Hey, Rob, any final parting shots from my favorite man of parody?
Parting shots. I would say there is no substitute for intentionality. So whatever you're going to do, be intentional about it. If you're going to go all into AI and struggle and fail and learn and experiment and do whatever, then be intentional about it. There's one thing. This is the kind of messaging positioning I'm trying to figure out now, which is like you just mentioned maps and being able to lean on and leverage things that now have just become ingrained in part of your not even like daily habit, your existence. Like if you don't have your phone and GPS, that's a problem. So it would be almost like a challenge to try doing one thing like analog, manually. Is that the right word? Maybe once a week, just like even cooking for me, right? Like we got a little egg bite maker and I was going to just, you know, hey, how do you do this? I read the instructions. I actually set it up myself and cooked 4 of the best little egg bites I've ever had. So that was a win today. It lets me know I'm still human and not just being run by AI, which is, you know, I think that's the scary part. Right now, a lot of stuff is powered by AI, like apps and tools and whatever.
Yeah.
When we become that way is the real worry. And so
we end up on the deck of the good ship Wally, fat and unhappy in little floaty carts.
Of all the movies to like possibly be true, Wally is not one I thought would be it. But I mean, we're a couple years out, maybe.
I hope so. At least 13. Let's go. Awesome, brother Rob. Well, thanks again for joining us here on the podcast, and we'll see you soon in the ATL, my friend.
All right, Eric. Thank you, man.
Welcome.
Until next time, stay troparious, stay serious, and be the bread.